All right, welcome to K9 and LCHS Cardinal Theater. So as you come in the K9 door, you're going to see our general classroom, which can also be considered our green room, depending on whether we're in a production or whether we are in a classroom setting. So over here we have the teacher's office. This is also our box office area, our for our production and stagecraft team. Sometimes our PR team will work out of there if they're working on our Ludus system, if they need access to the computer in there. But other than that, and ticket sales, generally speaking, that is a teacher area only. Over here we have our student desk area. This is generally where our learning happens, but this is also our green room area where actors wait around, they do their makeup, they hang out between scenes when they are not needed on set. Up here is where we store our yoga mats. All of these lockers are empty. They can be utilized for storing paint clothes for our paint team or set team, anything of that nature. This is just a bookshelf full of just classroom borrowed books. So for advocacy or anything of that nature, if you ever have students who are bored or don't have anything to do, you have some books that they can read. Up here, paper supplies, pens, pencils, and of course coloring, glue, markers, and highlighter supplies that students can always utilize whenever they need. There's also sidewalk chalk and crayons. Sometimes PR chooses to use the sidewalk chalk if they have a particular show that it might be useful for, but otherwise it's just pretty standard stuff in here. This is our hallway. Both of these paintings have been and can be used in shows. Over here, we have some textbooks that we can utilize in different classes. That's our ITS banner. Down here, we have our comfy materials. All of these are just donated materials and show materials and old show binders on the top. We have improv materials on the top left. Over here is our lost and found bucket. This can get over like 5 feet high sometimes by the end of a show run. So this is where you just kind of put anything that students have accumulate at the end of a show run. All cabinets will have labels on the front, student use and non-student use. On the top of these green cabinets are our production, workshop, final project, physical set and prop design examples. So that way they're out of the way, but they also provide classroom decorations. So from right to left, we have Chicago, we have West Side Story, we have Frozen. This is actually a special effect one. That's an interchangeable scene. There's one on the backside. This whole scene actually rotates, which is really cool. That was their special effect for that one. Up here we have Little Shop of Horrors, and then we've got two different Wickeds. That one, their special effect, you can actually light that clock actually lights through the back like a gel. It's pretty neat. And then that is Beetlejuice right there. So back to our green cabinets. Here we have non-student use and student use. This is cabinet number 3, one directly next to the teacher desk. At the top, we have various paints. We then have art supplies. We have our craft supply and our sewing shelf. And then we have our poster, giant post-it note and block / poster board project shelf. Cabinet number 2. Student use paper at the top there. PR team will get very familiar with that. Here we have student use clipboards and binders. Those are for our tech team. We have printer paper for the teacher. The notepads are also for tech team if needed. Down here we have food supplies. These are typically for potlucks or for other staff events or things of that nature. So typically I don't let students have access to this. I will give them access if I choose to, but typically this is not a free grab shelf. Down here we have letters and office supplies, and then some of the bigger office supplies things being down there. And finally, cabinet number 1. We have our shelf 2 as well as the right side are all rolled up foam. So we actually use these as floor padding for our picnic section for Into the Woods, so they can be used for whatever you want them to be used for, but they were for set for 2023 spring musical. We then have a first aid shelf, and that includes band-aids and a temperature gun, a heat spray, gloves, gauze. Those are masks in the back. We have sterile alcohol pads, as well as mic tape for mics for students, as well as makeup mirrors. So this is the student access part of this shelf. Down here we have fabrics, all kinds of fabrics and sheets, blankets, etc. Also, costume team uses a lot of what's in here in the bottom half. Over here is a student use fridge. So we have a student use fridge and a student use microwave. Right here, student use pencil sharpener, stapler, and hole punch, 3-hole punch. Connected. This is a podium. The chair for it is stuffed into the back. It does roll out, and then there is a gavel right there. We have used this for shows. We use this every year for the VAPA awards ceremony. The ITS charter is right up here. In our hallway, we have our scripts. So this is a lot of Shakespeare or older shows, scripts, things of that nature. And then over here is all our scenes. So like this is 1-act plays, our duo scenes, scene work, monologues. So when students for theaters 1, 2, and 3 are choosing those things, and if they can't find something on the internet, then they are free to come over here and look through all of these books to find something worthwhile. We have a restroom. The VAPA staff uses it, but students are welcome to use it. It also doubles as a dressing room during production time. This is our costume room. So this is our costume room. It also doubles as a dressing room during showtime because of just lack of space. It's also considered our pull room. So this is where we pull costumes from. We have things like our steamer and costume spray, wig heads, ironing board, drop cloths. Those sewing machines probably need power cords. They may work with repairs, but right now they are non-functional. These are pull buckets for if you pulled something and it needs to get returned, but you don't have time to hang it up. You throw it in that bucket, and then that's a notice that it needs to get hung up at some point. This is a pull rack. We've got 2 of them, so this is where you would pull something to. Back here we have our dress rack. It is organized, as you can see, by the labels on top. From there we have another rack organized by the labels. There are boxes underneath, all have labels on them. We have stacks of pants and shorts up top, boxes. All of our wigs are stored up top here along with wig supplies. We got a sleeping bag up there just from lack of space. We have cabinets. Each of the cabinets does actually have everything that is inside of it labeled on the outside now. So that is ready to go. That is Worbla. You do need a heat gun in order to shape that. It is very expensive, so do not waste it. Over here we have another steamer, some extra jewelry, the rest of our jewelry, crowns, all of that is in there. This is our boys' dressing room. So here is our cabinet. We have stage fabric. So that's stuff that we staple to our stage platforms. And then just extra fabric that we have from various sewing things or from stage stuff. So that's all up there. These are our costume bags. So we would label these for each character for what our show is. And then those would end up going into this for the girls or boys dressing rooms, respectively, with their character name on it so that the characters know what bag is theirs. Over here we have the mirror. Ooh, there's some garbage. I'm gonna throw that away. Try to keep the dressing rooms neat. Over here we have more of that costume spray. We try to keep a bottle in both rooms. We are drying out some extra bottles right now. There should be some makeup tutorials on the walls of both dressing rooms. There should be soap dispensers, sinks in both rooms. The girls' dressing room, light switch here. Over here we've got the spray. We've got our makeup tower over here, everything labeled and arranged. We have miscellaneous supplies, hair supplies, the spray for the girls' room. This is a jewelry container. And then this is what the inside of the cabinets look like without anything in them. You've got the bottom and where you'd hang all of the bags from. And then up top, this is where you would store things like jewelry or hats or accessories with your name on them. We're now moving into backstage. So this is backstage. This is actually where our lights are for backstage. So we have a manual one and then kind of our funky turning on one, which please look at the light tutorial for the theater in order to figure that one out. There used to be a costume rack back here. I would not recommend using it. A lot of dust and a lot of sawdust happens back here. So 10 out of 10 would not recommend. There is a door right here. You will hear people coming in and out of here. That is usually a band member or a VAPA staff to use the bathroom. This is a roll-up door. This is the one that is the band side roll-up door. So if you are trying to get perspective on where you are in the theater, that is band equipment. Typically, we do let them store that aspect of their band equipment there because of the sheer height, and they graciously let us use it occasionally. We just used it for Into the Woods as a part of the base part of our tower. Over here, we have our large set storage is what we call it. So we do have to kind of play real life Tetris here because this is the absolute max of our set storage. So there's not a lot of space, as you can see. So we play some real life Tetris with the space that we do have. We have this giant staircase. Never, ever, ever, ever get rid of it. I don't know if you know the engineering nightmare that a circular staircase is, but it is an absolute nightmare. Please never, ever get rid of the staircase. Just keep repairing it. It is not worth remaking. All right, those are stick structures. You can put backing on them. We use them for Into the Woods to block out wings. They're pretty useful. They're a nice organic kind of wing creators for different shows. We use these cell block gates for Chicago. We had wheels on them at one point. They no longer have wheels on them. You're free to add them or not. They're very light. You can repurpose them however you wish. They're just made out of PVC. Over here we have a whiteboard. Our set team often utilizes this. We have some medical equipment like a wheelchair. This is one of our graveyard light racks, so things that we can pull for parts or for replacement lights. Some of our cord light boxes, etc. We have stools, we have benches, we have chairs, cushions. That is a narrator's platform with its own staircase. Those are acting blocks. We have side tables, and we have a Christmas tree back there and a tent, and we have coffee tables, a full dining room set, a grand piano, not that you can see it very well. There is a coat rack, a piano bench, let's see here, some big wing chairs. There's that tree. Some side tables of various height, some stools of various height. There's that piano. So yeah, this is sort of our furniture area. Right here is our Mylar mirrors. Please look at the Mylar mirror repair manual thing before trying to clean these, because they are repaired in a very specific way and cleaned in a very specific way, or you will damage them. They're not glass, they're actually a fabric material, but you can ruin them by putting finger oils all over them. So please don't let the kids be touching them. Try not to let people scrape them. They can be repaired, but once you fully damage them and rip it, there's not a ton you can do. So do your best to try to take care of these. They're absolutely amazing for when you're doing musicals, and you can pull them out for choreography. You can pull these out for meditation. You can pull these out for teaching kids to do fight choreography. They are essentially turn the Black Box Theater into a dance studio. So that way you're never having to book the dance studio. It is a great, great thing. This is a rolling platform. We've got two of these bad boys at two different heights. We typically use these as prop tables. They're very, very nice. We label them and we use them as prop tables. These are two staircases flipped upside down. That's another rolling rack of lights. Behind it, that is actually a portable curtain that you can use for club fairs and things of that nature. Over here, we have our broom and mop storage. Right here on the wall. Oh, that needs to get tossed. We've got our paint sink right here. Oh, those are some vases. Sometimes our props, we run out of room, so they get stored back here. Over here we have our prop cabinets, 1, 2, 3, and all the way on top. Everything's labeled with what's in it. Over here we have safety goggles, electrical cords, chargers. These are going to be our power tools, which is our locked cabinet, table saw, our fastening cabinet, so like everything, screws, nails, things of that nature. The next cabinet is going to be adhesives, so that's going to be tapes, glues, everything paint related is on the bottom shelf of that cabinet, and then the final cabinet back there is actually special effects, chemicals, and rope. Up here we have hand tools of all types. We have so many different tape measures. Please don't lose them. We always seem to lose them. These are our protective gloves of different types and varieties and levels, earplugs. We have pencils, pens, carpenter pencils, hard hats, a fire extinguisher, all kinds of things like that. We have our sawhorses right here. We got a belt sander. We've got a shop vac. This is one of our giant books, so a few set pieces make their way over here. This is our chop saw. Over here we've got all of our Broadway flat storage. So this is our granny's house right here, as well as our that's our fake French door. This is our Broadway flat storage. It goes back real deep. There's probably, I don't know, 8 feet worth of Broadway flats in this pile. Most of them are just flat. A few of them like this have a facade on them, but they're very, very useful. This is our wood storage, small, medium, large on top, wood storage. And then over here we have our big, more flat wood storage pieces, our outside industrial lights, metal poles, or plastic. Typically band does park their golf cart here, but they're very good about moving it when you need it to, so just always communicate that to them. Don't let people steal your tables. Those are your tables. You typically need those as ticket tables for the shows. You need them for various events, like the VAPA nights, etc. So just make sure that those live there. Those are your breakers. Only about half your breakers live here. The other half live in a closet somewhere that they've never shown me and I don't have access to. So the janitors know where it is. Make sure you make friends with Oscar. He's awesome. Over here, shelving. Ignore that. That is what band uses to charge their golf cart. These are trees, greenery, etc., old light board, and sock trees up there and branches. This is our paint area, paint cabinets, and then all things paint related. Those are our ladder storage. It's got the chain around it. All you have to do is unhook the chain. Oh, that's sweet. definitely didn't write that. All right. The chain just unhooks there. That's actually for earthquake safety. So make sure that those are always attached, because these are actually a lot taller than you think. Some of those are 25, 30-foot ladders. And if those come down on a kid, because they're metal, it can be really, really dangerous. So please make sure that those are always secured. Over here, we have cardboard storage. This is about as neat as it gets. Typically we do actually go through quite a bit of cardboard for a show, so I do try to hold on to it. This is a pretty small amount considering what we started with at the beginning of the year. So do consider taking in moving boxes and things of that nature. Usually of the larger variety, I wouldn't take in small things, so only really take large boxes, I'd say, when people offer them. And then foam we keep here at the end, or foam board. This is a giant roll of carpet. It's kind of like a red color, and it is ours, and it's yours to cut up as you please. So we used it for Murders in the Air. We cut up chunks and we used it as our entryway carpet, and then we threw it out at the end. So there's a lot there. So if you ever want to utilize it for a show and then throw it away at the end, then don't feel bad about it. That is your light booth. Essentially up there you have your storage to the right, which has all your like gels and your components up there, and then to your left is the actual light booth itself, which has, you know, your light board, your soundboard, all of that in there. It's really just one room. If you're, I'm not going to go into a detailed kind of visit up there, also because I don't have my keys on me, but just note that that is where your light booth is. Over here, we have our door 2 entrance is what we call it. So this is your door 2 entrance during a show. So it leads into the theater. Oh, look, okay, the light lift. This is our quad entrance double doors. We have left our psych up, just so you know. We left it up along with our floor lights. The only thing that isn't plugged in, all the floor lights are still connected to each other, is the floor lights are labeled and then the wall is labeled. All you have to do is reconnect the end of the floor lights on the far left there into the correctly labeled wall socket behind that curtain there. Essentially, all of the floor lights will work again. But we were constantly taking this up and down every show, and we realized that we used it more often than we didn't, and this was almost always the configuration of a show. So we figured we would just leave it up, and if you ever need to do a show in a different configuration, it'll be up to you to take this down and move it. So please note that we did have to hang bars across the top in order to add more tension to the psych, because there is no parallel bars running across there. So that was added kind of in addition by the kids. So just be aware of that, please. So the light lift, please look at the light lift instruction video if you need to utilize it. It always needs to be plugged in. Black box theater. It has its name because it is a black box. There are curtains on the walls. The curtains look like they have to stay where they are. They can actually be moved. The clips can't be moved, but they can be removed from the clips and then attached to other clips. That is how we actually got 2 curtains over there and created a new middle entrance, so that there's a new entrance there, so that that curtain can go all the way across that section and all the way across that section, and have the entrance kind of be in the middle there, so that doorway can like lead to the middle entrance. This curtain is actually hung with, if you can believe it, Kevlar string that's been fire treated and very carefully measured and hung to the ceiling there. It was very carefully done about a year ago for our Chicago show in 2022, because we don't have a wing on this side. The curtain was not made for far enough. The railing was not put far enough out in order to have any sort of wing on this side, so we created one, because this is, again, is the most useful orientation for the theater. So again, we have left it up because it has been the orientation we have used the most since then. So if you ever want to bring it down, up to you, but let me tell you, it will be a pain to ever put it back up, so would not recommend. All right, all of your platforms are stored behind this curtain line. Some bar is stored there, and the rest are all stored behind that curtain line and in your lobby over there. Door number 3, right there. Over here, you have your lobby. Your lobby lights are actually going to be all the way over to the left of the door. It's going to be hard to see them because this whole room is blocked with these guys. Down here is going to be your kind of artificial corridor that if it wasn't filled with these bad boys, you would be able to actually walk down it. And then up there we have our projector. Whoop. And over here we have all of our chair storage. This is our bay door. We keep it open typically all the way up until it becomes time for showtime. And at that point, we do actually close it to provide obviously light and noise suppression to backstage for our audience members. All right, typically, this is our green room door. It leads from the audience back into the classroom. And you have just gone on a full theater tour. All right, good luck, everyone.